Insider Analysis, Ed Bauter and Dan Schwester from the Overrun. And today we are going to talk about some of the storms that we've seen in the South. Danny, it is hurricane season. And as we know in New Jersey, we've spent plenty of time with storms up here. Right now, Hurricane Helene has hit the coast down in North Carolina. Right now, there's about 160 people that are reported dead. There's 1.2 million people without power. The town of Asheville has been locked in by water. There's no mobile service. There's no power. Generally, overall, not great. But we've had hurricane responses up here in our area in New Jersey for a long time. So let's talk about some of the logistics that happen whenever we have these types of storms.
Well, first of all, we've had the experience to go through a couple storms, nothing on the scale of what we're seeing coming out of western North Carolina and Florida.
Yeah, it's an enormous storm system.
It's just mind-boggling, the pictures that are coming out of there. And our hats off to the emergency responders from almost every discipline you can think of, and even some you can't think of, that are responding to this scene and handling this emergency with professionalism and courage and, just strong work, everybody. That being said, there's important lessons to take from this EMS 1 article. These storms are not going away. They're getting more severe. They're getting more frequent. However you want to believe that's happening is fine, but this is what it is. We have to prepare for this. This is why understanding the incident command system is so important. This is why you should be having these discussions with your leadership, and your leadership needs to be engaging all the people that are going to be involved in an emergency response and your emergency management people, so that you're not trying to pick up the pieces while you're trying to put together a response. There should be things in place. This is your time to prepare. If this hasn't happened to you, this will happen in your community, whether it's a snowstorm, whether it's an ice storm, whether it's a hurricane, tornado, wildfire. These things are out there and we have to deal with them. And the people we serve are going to expect we're going to be there, and we have to be there.
And without getting too deep into details on climate change and all of that, we have seen, and we're in New Jersey, we experienced the effects of Superstorm Sandy, and we remember the enormous response that was required for that. This is where I think there's a lot of talk in EMS and first response generally, where we worry about incident command, we worry about all these things, but I think a lot of times we tend to kind of write them off as merit badge courses, right? You take, it's like, oh, I took an ICS 800 today. This is where those things become really important. And Danny, you and I have friends that are down there, and certainly, we're thinking about all y'all. Good luck out there. The stories that I've heard is that it's not great, to say the least. And it is a very, very busy and intense EMS response. But this is where, when we talk about incident command, it may not be important to your day-to-day life as a provider, but as systems, as organizations, we have to have these things kind of laid out in the event that these events happen. Here in New Jersey, we've had plenty of storms. We always know when hurricane season is, and especially since Sandy, we have everything kind of set up for in the event of additional storms. We're starting to see weather events in places that haven't had them before. So if you're in California, you might have to get used to more cyclones. If you're out in anywhere west of Missouri, you have to worry about wildfires in national parks and things like that. So it would behoove all of us as an industry to really get a better understanding of ICS, see what's going on with the many, many task forces that are down there right now in North Carolina and all of the Atlantic South, and learning what worked and learning what didn't. There's only so many things that we can control for in these types of environments. We can't control for the weather. We can't control for the destruction that happens, but we can control our actual response. And it may be that we need to improve our response times. We need to get people in place earlier. But from what I've seen from this response, it's been very, very impressive. It's been as good as we can do it, right? And in that type of setting, I think the way that we can try and make things better is by just preparing for expecting the unexpected, preparing for things that we haven't seen before. But let us know what you all think. If you're following this story on EMS 1, give a comment. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on overrunems.com. And for EMS 1 Insider Analysis, Ed Bauter and Dan Schwester from the Overrun. We'll talk to you all next time.